And we are back, and you know, what a better way to follow through on a pool conversation than talking about the stuff that you can put next to your pool so you no longer have to go inside on a day like today. Charlie Carter joins us, and Charlie grew up working in construction and now owns HomeBridge Builders, custom building and remodeling. Well, welcome back, Charlie.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be back.
Well, it's good to see you.
Hello, Heather.
Hey, how are you?
I am well.
Good.
You make it sound like she's far away, you know, and if they were to see us in the studio,
I
they would know.
appreciate the greeting.
Absolutely.
Well, she let me in. So
Yes, she did.
I needed her.
I'm the gatekeeper.
That's right. Well, we were happy to unlock the door for you.
Yes, I appreciate it.
So, you know, you heard Jim talking a little bit about pools, and it seems to be something that there's a lot of safety issues around. But when it comes to outdoor spaces in general, even if people don't have a pool, I mean, that's kind of where people want to be right now. Do you see a lot of people looking for outdoor areas right now?
We are just overrun with inquiries about outdoor spaces and blending the inside and the outside. And we have a whole category of project we refer to as outdoor living. And that's that category. And it can be as simple as a deck or a patio, which is the most basic, and then it can just go from there. Typically in this part of the world, we do covered spaces of some derivative. And so that kind of begins the outdoor space when you go one step up from the deck or the patio is the covered space. And then from there, and with the pool, they're fantastic. We've done a number of them in conjunction with a pool project where the roof comes off the existing part of the house. You've got a couple of posts typically, and you're just creating an outdoor space. And then it's a matter of how much do you want to sort of turn up the volume on that outdoor space. Do you want just a grill that you roll up that you've had for 10 years and it's just kind of right there? Or do you want to do the built-in kitchen? Do you want a fridge? Do you want a sink? The common sort of components that we add from there is a fireplace, very popular. To do a full stone masonry, 360-degree walk-around fireplace that sticks up above the roof so that vents all the smoke. TVs, very common. Going to sit out there and
sounds like you live in L.A.
Well, we try to get as much as we can. It's about extending the outdoor time that we have here. And one of the main things that we do to add to these outdoor spaces to extend that time, and they're typically right off the pool and sort of adjacent to it and right there, is heaters up in the roof. Like everyone's seen the ones at the restaurant with the tank in the bottom and it's the tall
pole. The propane heaters.
Exactly. But we build them right into the ceiling or the roof of the structure, and they can be electric or gas, and they just radiate the heat right down into the room. And sometimes we'll do sliding doors to open it up a little bit more so that you can really extend the use of that space earlier in the spring, later in the fall kind of thing. And it's just how far do you want to go with it? And so we're getting tons of inquiries. But the thing that I wanted to talk about is I've had people calling me this week saying, hey, we want to do outdoor space. Oh, okay. Well, for when? Well, for this summer. No, sorry. that window closed.
Yeah.
We're talking about next summer at this point, because the planning and the permitting process and all that's involved with it takes several months to really do it well and to know what you're going to be spending before you start. You have to draw it, plan it, design it, and budget it completely and say, okay, this is what we want. This is how much it's going to cost. We feel good about it. Let's move ahead. Now we're into permitting, processing, and all that can take months and months and months. So if you're starting in July, we may not be started till the fall.
You might be able to use that fireplace.
You could use the fireplace for the football season.
You might have an outdoor Super Bowl party.
Well, yeah, even earlier than that, you'd be done before that, but well moved into it by Super Bowl time. But yeah, it takes months, and it needs to be planned and thoroughly done so that you're getting what you want, but it fits your budget and what's right for the house and the neighborhood.
Is that planning piece? I guess that's kind of the fun part at the very beginning, but that really is where you have to get pretty dialed in, isn't it? Because you want to know what you're trying to build before you start building it.
Yeah, unless you really you're not too worried about the money. If it's just sort of, order of magnitude, $30,000, $40,000, if that's close enough for you, then maybe you kind of rush into it. But most people aren't 30 or 40,000 is either one's okay with me. They really want to know. And so to be able to price out something exactly, I have to have a plan of exactly what I'm building. I have to know all the material. I have to know how many square feet of what kind of tile I'm putting in, what kind of countertop, how tall is that fireplace, what's the stone that's going on it, how are we going to heat it, where's the power coming from, how many outlets are we putting in, what kind of heat, how many lights. You have to price every one of those things out. You have to pick them out. And once you do, then you can say it's going to cost this much.
And there's a lot of, it sounds like there's a lot of options, because it's not just how many lights, it's what kind of lights. It's not how many heaters, it's what kind of heaters. So it would seem like you have to be very organized at the beginning to make it successful at the end.
You do. And the more detail and the more time you spend up front and the more thoroughly it's planned, then the easier the construction process goes. Because at that point, it really almost becomes color by number. The little coloring books, color number 6, blue, and then you get a really cool picture. And so if we've planned it well and thoroughly and done all the homework.
You do a lot of those, Charlie?
I used to. Yeah. I'm glad to pass it now. But
little finger painting on the side.
The more thoroughly it's planned, then the easier it is during the construction process, and we know what we're doing. You're not making, as a homeowner, a last-minute, under-pressure decision with the tile guy standing there tapping his foot saying, well, if I had tile, I'd be installing it today. And now you're making a panic decision. And you might compromise, well, I have to get something that's in stock, but I really like that one, but it's going to take 2 weeks to get. If we'd have planned it 3 months ago, we could have ordered it, no problem, got the exact one you wanted.
We're here with Charlie Carter with HomeBridge Builders. And Charlie, we have a few minutes before we have to go to break.
Right on.
So what do you see as some of the biggest things? What are some of the biggest desires? You talked about fireplaces and kitchens. Is it just the goal of having a place you can always spend time and you don't have to even go inside anymore?
Well, I think the big goal is because the days that we have, like today, are relatively rare in this part of the world, is that people want to capitalize on them. They want to be able to use them. They want to be able to get outside, and they want to be able to do it comfortably. And if it does rain, shocker, it might start raining, that they have a spot they can go. They can still be outside. And it really increases the functionality of your house if the outdoor space is usable in less than perfect weather, because it makes your house so much bigger. You're in the yard. You can have more people over. And I think it really comes back to hanging out with friends or family or whoever's important. That's the spot. Whether it's just you and your spouse and that's what you want and that you're hanging out together, you're there. Or if it's 10 kids and brothers and sisters and, 30 people over, you have a space to be able to do it. And it's what's comfortable to be able to pull that off.
And it would even seem like, we talk about it in the summer, but we also get a little bit of snow here. And I think it's fun if your kids are out in the snow, but you have a fireplace that you can kind of sit around and it kind of gives you that resort feel.
Yeah, or even the hot tub underneath the gazebo or a covered area.
Well, the hot tubs are really popular as a part of that if someone doesn't go all the way to the full-blown pool. And most people, when they go pool, there's also a hot tub associated with it. You got to have both. But the half step is the hot tub. And it's again about that. And you're right, that's the roof. The heaters is extending the use of that space. And the hardy souls will go out there and bundle up and start the fire and put the TVs on and watch the football games in the fall and have the grill going and be sitting outside unless it's just awful out. But you can do it with the heaters.
I would watch football anywhere, so that doesn't make any difference to where I have to watch it.
Yeah.
My wife would sometimes like to send me outside to watch the games. I think she would prefer if I had a TV outside somewhere that.
And most of the time, it's more than one. We do a lot of monitors out there where we'll put multiples up so you can watch.
You build outdoor sports bars.
Kinda. You put the multiple monitors up so they can all be the same game or multiple games, and then you got the sound built in. It's off your iPod. Cool. Flip it over to the TV. Whatever you want.
You are coming to my house later. We're building an outdoor sports bar, Charlie.
Let's do it, baby.
Done and done. Hey, I appreciate you stopping by on such a beautiful day. And I think people are out there. People are probably looking outside right now thinking, well, it's not football season, but I would like to have a deck and some lounge chairs. And if you don't already, hey, it's something to really think about. Yeah, and of course, it's too late now. You'd be thinking about it for next summer.
Next summer or the fall.
Thanks again for joining us. When we come back, a great friend of our show, Paul Pukas, is going to join us. We're going to talk a little bit more about the insurance needs that come up when all of these different aspects of summer kick in. We'll be right back after this break.